All right, let's go a level deeper today. We're not just talking about philosophy, we're going to talk about the philosophy of philosophy. Think of it like the rule book for the entire game of thinking. We're diving into the world of metaphilosophy. You know that feeling, right? You're in a debate, maybe it's about politics or something really deep like the meaning of life, and you just feel like you're talking past each other. It's like you're on two separate trains on parallel tracks, just whooshing by, never ever connecting. It's so frustrating. Well, that exact kind of gridlock is what metaphilosophy is all about trying to solve.
And it comes in with this really radical idea. It says, stop trying to win the argument. Forget about trying to derail the other person's train of thought. Instead, what if you focused all your energy on building a single, unshakable track? A track built on such solid ground that any train, no matter where it comes from, once it's on those rails, it has no choice but to follow them to one single logical destination.
Okay, so let's get into how this train track of philosophy actually works to guide our arguments. The key here is that it's not about two forces clashing, but about creating one shared railway that leads every single train of thought toward the same place: truth.
Now, the source material for this has this fantastic word for it, meluruskan, and it basically means to straighten something out, to align it. And that's the whole idea, isn't it? Metaphilosophy doesn't get into a fist fight with an argument, no. It just gently picks it up, places it on this path of universal truth, and then it lets go. It lets the argument's own logic, its own momentum, carry it forward to its natural, inevitable conclusion. It's not about forcing an outcome, it's about guiding the journey.
And this comparison just hammers home the difference. Think about a normal debate. It's a battle, right? My train is trying to push your train off the rails. It's pure conflict. But with metaphilosophy, you're building a shared foundation, one track for everyone. And here's the really wild part. The more someone tries to fight it, the more they try to pull their train of thought off the track, the more they find themselves just sliding right back on. The logic of the track itself just keeps guiding them, pulling them toward that one single converging point.
So, if this track is so powerful, what are these unshakable rails of truth actually made of? It can't just be someone's opinion, or the whole thing would just collapse. The secret is that they're forged with the pure steel of logic.
Now, here is a crucial rule, maybe the most important one. You cannot build this track on ideas that are supposedly self-evident. You know, those things people say just are, the ones that claim they don't need any proof. Metaphilosophy says, nope, not going to work. Why? Because obvious is a trap. What's obvious to me might not be obvious to you. It's like building your foundation on sand. It's just going to crumble.
And this quote just nails it perfectly. A straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. Yeah, sure, on a flat piece of paper, that's 100% true. But what happens when you're in the real world, standing in front of a mountain? Are you going to try and go through it in a straight line? Of course not. The shortest realistic path is the one that follows the curve of the land. And that's the whole point. An idea can sound perfectly logical in a vacuum, but if it isn't anchored to the real world, it's completely useless.
So this leads us right here. For this track to have any real power, it can't just be some abstract game we play in our heads. We have to anchor it in reality. Every single piece of it, every rail, has to touch the ground.
Okay, so what are the construction rules for this thing? First, like we said, every part has to be traceable back to reality. No floating in the clouds. Second, you have to throw out any of those unprovable axioms, those just because ideas. And third, and this is the really cool part, the rails are forged with what's called absolute logical consequence. Now, what does that mean? Well, think about it. Direct evidence, what you see with your own eyes, can sometimes fool you, right? We misinterpret things all the time. But an absolute logical consequence, that's different. It's an inescapable conclusion. It means if A is true, then B has to be true, period. It's a certainty that's even stronger than just seeing something.
All right, get ready because this is where things get really mind-bending. The idea here is that if you could understand just one tiny piece of this track, one single rail, perfectly, you can use that knowledge to map out the entire universe. So how on earth do you do that? Well, it's a three-step process. First, you find a universal truth on a small, manageable scale, something you can actually wrap your head around. Then, step two, you test the heck out of it. This is what's known as by implication. It's not enough for A to lead to B, B also has to lead back to A. It has to work from every single direction. Once you've confirmed that, once you have that one perfect, solid piece of rail, you can use its fundamental logic to map out everything else.
because the underlying rules of the track are the same everywhere.
And I know what you're probably thinking. How is that even possible? I'm just one person. Well, the idea here is that while our senses are limited, we can only see so far, hear so much, we're also equipped with something else, an internal intuition for logic. It's like we have a built-in compass for this universal track. It's what allows us to make that incredible leap from our own tiny experience to a vast universal truth.
Okay, so this is all really fascinating big picture stuff, but how do we actually use it in our own lives? Let's talk about what it means to think like a metaphilosopher and navigate this whole landscape of truth. So to get around, we need a map, and this map has 4 different kinds of truth on it. First, you have absolute truth. That's the final station, the ultimate destination at the very end of the line. Then there's relative truth. These are the different routes you can take. Are you going to take the scenic route or the express train? Both get you to the same place, but the path is different. Then we have subjective truth. This is your personal experience on the train. Did you get a good seat? Do you like the view from your window? It's all about your personal journey. And finally, objective truth. This is the nuts and bolts. The train needs fuel, the wheels need to be on the track. It's the practical stuff that makes the journey possible. See? They're all different, but they're all necessary parts of the same trip.
So what's the whole point of all this? The goal isn't just to sit around and think big thoughts. The whole reason for exploring this giant universal track is to take these huge abstract ideas and turn them into something real, something we can actually use. It's about building a bridge from our minds to the real world, so our conclusions aren't just thoughts, they become actionable.
So I want to leave you with this question. The next time you're thinking through something, or you find yourself in one of those debates, just take a second. Stop thinking about how to win. Instead, ask yourself about the track your argument is on. Is it built on solid ground? Is it actually connected to reality? And the biggest question of all, where is your train of thought really going? Because every single one is heading somewhere. You just have to figure out what that final destination is.